Hello and welcome to our menu manager ETL pipeline. I'm Julian.
I'm Olivia.
I'm Sophie. And I'm Augusta. So, just a quick overview of the pipeline that we built. The goal was to create a menu management tool to help restaurant owners and managers create and visualize new menus from scratch using a centralized platform while storing the item data. So the input would be menu items that the user provided, categories, prices, and images. If they want to put an image in, and then the output would be an interface showing the full menu. They're stored in RDS and S3. And this helps restaurants test and organize new menus from scratch while also storing the inputted data.
Walking through the architecture, our pipeline essentially connects the user input from the web interface with RDS as well as S3. And so starting out with the user, this essentially interacts with the interface, inputting category types such as appetizer, entree, dessert, and then item name as well as price. And then the input is collected by Streamlit application, which is running on our EC2 instance. The EC2 essentially hosts the app as well as handles any communication between the user as well as the backend. Once the user submits that data, it sends it to API Gateway, which acts as a secure middleman between the backend and the front end. Its job is essentially to route incoming requests to the appropriate service. Our Lambda function does most of the heavy lifting, and it has two key tasks. It inserts the item details such as name, category, price into our SQL database, which is hosted in RDS, as well as if an image is uploaded, it also stores that image in S3 bucket. And then the RDS database serves as our structured storage, holding all menu items. And then our S3 handles the unstructured data, which is for the menu, for the image uploads.
Yeah, so getting into our demo, I will pull up our Streamlit interface on EC2. So this is our restaurant menu manager, and you see that we've added a few items already, but let's just go through kind of how a restaurant manager or owner would go about adding. So let's say we want to add a dessert. We want to add a cannoli. Um, and we're going to upload an image here. So add menu item, you can see down here that we have a compiled table of our menu items so far. So the first thing we want to make sure is that our Lambda is working properly. So we can actually see here just in our logs that we've inserted cannoli, which is great. And so we also want to make sure that the images are also being uploaded. And we can see cannoli was just added. And then lastly, we can check our MySQL table within our RDS. And we can see that cannoli is added here at the bottom.
Okay, so quickly, we're just going to run through again what each of the AWS services are doing within our pipeline. So S3 is storing all of our uploaded images. It's scalable and it easily integrates with Lambda, which is triggered when a new file is added. And then Lambda acts as our backend processor. It takes user input from the front end and then writes our MySQL table into RDS. And it also handles image uploads from S3. And then RDS stores all structured user inputs. That includes item name, category, price, and then in a MySQL database. And then it also allows us to easily query and build upon this data. EC2 hosts our Streamlit web app where users can input and view menu items, and it sends that data into Lambda using API Gateway.
Yeah, so in terms of some additional things that we had to research, the first was API Gateway. And so, yeah, so the main benefit of this, or kind of the reason for our switch, is we at first were trying to do kind of more of a direct connection between EC2 and Lambda. But we were running into a lot of errors, and there wasn't like a great or obvious way to debug. So we heard that API Gateway had, clearer logs and just kind of better debugging. And so we used the simpler version, HTTP API. But pretty much it just allows for our EC2, whoever's interacting with our Streamlit on EC2 to trigger our Lambda function, and this is through kind of an HTTP function post. So this is just kind of how we're able to move our data from the flow of like the front end to our Lambda, the back end, and eventually our data storage.
And we also had to look into Streamlit a bit, and we found out that it was a really good way to create interfaces with user inputted information, and it integrates easily with pandas, and it has a lot of options for selection boxes and ways to upload information, like with st.file uploader.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Thank you.